Okay, thank you everybody for being here today. It's a pleasure to see all of you together. We never got actually the chance to meet all together because we met you in different editions. So this year we are giving a virtual edition. And the way we thought to realize this edition is to give a retrospective of what the seminar has been during the years. And we were lucky enough to have some of the alumni to send us videos of their performances, and also some of the past year faculties to give a new contribution. And also we had Hannah sending a contribution that is going out today. And the contribution of the faculty, I think you saw from the schedule, are from Joan Castellani and Michael Andriaccio, and from Joa Luis, from Laura Altman, from Hannah, and from Frederic Zigante that I interviewed yesterday. And we'll give also some of the cultural events that we have been having during the past years. So we'll have the ex-mayor of Borrello introducing some images of the town and greeting us from Borrello. And also we'll have the Salle event with some videos from Salle, just to share with other people what actually it feels like going to a little town in Italy where they have a tradition from the Middle Ages of gut string making. And we'll also have some images from Lanciano and Estate Musicale Frentana. So we hope you like the idea of seeing again the event. And please share and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see even yourself playing there. And we are going live on YouTube, on our channel, on Instagram and Facebook. So thanks again for being here. And I'm leaving the word to Michael.
Well, I only want to say I'm hungry already from watching the Taverna Angsa yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Right, I forgot that.
And we will be seeing plenty of food. We have not learned how to capture the aroma yet, but the visual part should be good. And then we can cook on our own.
Right.
And I wanted to say it's so wonderful to see people from all over the world today. There were many of our alumni who wrote to say, oh, they love us dearly, but they are not getting up at 4 a.m. for this. And some have said they would love to be here, but they're working. Chiara in Hong Kong is still at work. Donna in Boston is already at work, and some of the others.
And so, Adrienne is in California, I think, and she didn't want to wake up at 5 a.m. Even if she would love to see us, but it's actually very early.
So I thought perhaps everybody could introduce themselves and just say where you are now, maybe where you're from, and what your connection is with Lanciano when you came to the event. Who should we start with? I have clockwise, counterclockwise. I have Matt Kaplan standing next to me. Do you want to go first, Matt?
Sure, that's fine. So I'm Matt Kaplan. I'm here now in New York City. I apologize for all the crazy New York City construction that I have outside me right now, and the 7 train that goes by every couple of seconds. But anyways, I'm in New York City right now. I moved to New York, I guess, maybe 8 years ago, 2012, I guess, to get my master's at Mannes College. That's where I first met Michael. No, actually, I lied. I met Michael earlier at one of the Philly festivals. Either way, It was 2018 that Matt Petey and I were awarded the fellowship from the New York Guitar Seminar. It managed to go up to go out to the Lanciano International Guitar Seminar, and we just had a blast out there. It was really great week.
Thanks, Matt. And looking on my screen next to Matt is Peter. If you'd like to say hi to everybody, that would be great.
So, hello everybody. My name is Peter. I'm originally from Romania, though I'm Hungarian, and at the moment I am talking from Lisbon, Portugal. Well, I guess I have that strange story of the Lanciano Guitar Festival that when I finished my studies, I wanted to have a different kind of festival from what I was used to. So I just started Googling, and somehow, somewhere, I wish I would knew where did I find the festival. I really wish I would knew, but it just popped up and I wrote an email, and the rest is just history. And I participated 2 times, and both of the times I had a blast there, as Matthew said. It was really amazing. It was one of the most family-like festivals that I've ever been to.
Well, how would you say that is different from other festivals you've been to?
It's very participant-centric. And the attention is mostly on the participants, their concerts, the way they are preparing those pieces that they just get at the festival. I think that process was very unique for me at that moment, because I wasn't used to these type of festival activities from Europe. It's a little bit different when you go to these bigger festivals in Europe, and this was such a new thing to me, and I guess that was the reason why I really fell in love with it.
Great. Well, we're glad you did. And Fabio, tell us where you are today, and when you came to Lanciano, and you came to New York also, as did Peter. Oops, you're still muted, Fabio. Wait, I can unmute you. I got it. No, I can't unmute you. You have to unmute.
Yes, I understand. Hi, everyone. Yeah, okay. I forgot. I'm Fabio Grieco. I'm from Italy, South Italy. And I attended the Lanciano International Guitar Seminar in 2014. Yeah, 6 years ago. And it's a very good experience because the place is very nice. The castle and the people, the teacher, other students, and I attended the guitar seminar Madness, yeah, in 2015 in New York. The experience is wonderful, because for me it's the first time in the plane, first time in New York, for all. And when I arrived in New York, it's strange, because I live in a small town of 10,000 people in Italy, very different. And there in New York, see, easy, but not the first time, because the subway or other things is in the first time difficult, after easy, very easy, but the first time is, but the seminar is intensive, and I remember many students, for example, Brazil, USA, Italy, other places. And many lessons, and every interesting concept. I remember the concept in American Society is right. Yeah. Okay, I remember what. So.
Yeah, well, Fabio, we're so glad that you were able to join us. I cannot believe it was 6 years ago. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, 6.
Great. Hey, Matt Petey, tell us about your Lanciano experience. Had you been to Italy before?
No, that was my first time in Italy. And I went along with Kaplan. We were the recipients of the fellowship in 2018. So we kind of came as a package deal with some solo and duo performances and master classes. Yeah, no, I had a great time when I went. It was my first time in Italy, and like being familiar with the format of the guitar seminar at Manus, it was a lot of similarities to the one that we do there, which was comfortable. And you know, I kind of knew what to expect from the seminar, but being, you know, in like those small towns in Italy, and it just kind of like amplified everything for me, I think. Just kind of like took everything that we had done, you know, and just kind of bumped it up a notch of like just kind of being more infused in different cultures, and kind of, you know, taking the tours of like, you know, the places in Sale and hanging out in Borello. Just, you know, it takes everything and just kind of opens it up and expands, you know, the art, I think. For somebody who's never been there before, maybe Isabella can speak differently to that, but for me, it was my first time in Italy, and my first time in those places. It kind of made the performances a lot more exciting. It made the experience just a lot more memorable as well, I think. And we had great. That was when we had Michael and Joanne were with us too. So they kind of brought their own, I guess you could say, expertise in other things to the table, you know, and it was kind of fun having like family dinners with everybody, and Michael Andriaccio teaching us, you know, how to taste and drink wine, and Joanne telling us how like the differences between different olive oils. And, you know, it's just like when you have all of those things, you know, coming together, it just makes for like an incredible experience. So I have nothing but good things to say about it. And maybe, hopefully, you know, when the world puts itself back together and if we're allowed to travel back, you know, I would like to join and go again. That would be cool.
We would love it. We would all love to be back. Thanks, Matt. Thanks so much. Hannah, Phil has gone off to feed the cats or the rats.
He's making coffee.
Yeah. Well, that's the most important part of any Italian day, to begin with coffee.
Yeah.
But, do you want
to as well?
Do you want to say a little bit about your travels? You're the most recent Lanciano transplants.
Yeah, we came to Lanciano just last year in 2019, and we were excited because we were gonna, you know, come back again. Obviously, not possible. We live in New York City. We're originally from New Jersey, but we've been in New York City for about 5 years. And I did my Master's of Music degree at Manus School of Music. So I've been going to the Manus guitar seminar for like 6 years or something. And then Phil recently did a professional studies diploma at Manus as well. So it's kind of like they're very similar, the Manus seminar and the Lanciano seminar, but there's a lot of really different things. Like in Italy, we were so like immersed in the community there that we had. I like how the seminar in Lanciano is like so kind of small, like everybody is together the whole time. It was just a blast.
Yeah, and going all the different places was really cool too. Yeah, it was a great experience.
There are a fair number of really great places in Italy to go to at any moment. Isabella, everybody's talking about how this was a different kind of festival experience for them from a lot of the major festivals that focus mostly on faculty concerts and maybe vendor fairs and things like that. How is it that you first envisioned the Lanciano event as being so participant driven, where all of the participants perform in all of the concerts and everything really revolves around the rehearsals and the master classes for the participants?
Yeah, actually hearing your about your experiences in Lanciano makes me feel I was able to reach my goal. Because my goal at the beginning, when I moved to New York, I attended Manus seminar and I really liked it. I actually couldn't even imagine something like that could exist after being educated in Italy and after going, in general in Europe to attend guitar seminars, which are, of course, faculty driven and hierarchical. You can see the hierarchy. So I'm the teacher, you are the student, you don't come for dinner with me, And in general, the culture in Italy is really about that, in college and everywhere. So what I really loved about the American culture, the life in New York, was to be able to get together to, anybody, your teacher, your main inspiration, artist, and this was also at university for me when I came as a researcher. So I thought I needed to absolutely to share this experience and this opportunity with other people from Italy and Europe. So my idea was to try to realize a project like this, and I had the opportunity to being hosted by Estate Musicale Frentana, which is a big historical event in Italy, which has been focused on orchestra instruments, and the guitar was missing. So my idea was to suggest them to open also to other instruments and to the guitar in particular. But I couldn't do it without Michael Newman and Laura Altman, of course, because they had such a great experience about making an event so well organized and so open. So I asked them if they liked the idea to come to Italy and to organize this event with me. And they said yes. I was so happy, and we started. So that was, I actually couldn't imagine this event could live so many years, for so many years. And it seems like it will never die, so it's amazing.
Well, this was the year that could kill it, as with many events. But Laura and I are pretty determined to make everything continue for whatever reasons. So we continued with our chamber music festival, Raritan River Music, that was in May, and that was a phenomenal learning experience. We continued with all our chamber music coaching and classes with ensembles at school, and then the New York Guitar Seminar. So by now, we know that it can be done. It is amazing that it takes 10 times more work than going to a place from 7 a.m. until midnight. This is so much more work,
yes.
but we're glad it's all coming together. You know, I wanted to mention that everybody who's here in this meeting today has not only been a participant or a teacher at the seminar, but is also a teacher that themselves. And I wanted to ask them a little bit about that, to speak about their work as teachers, and how being at the Lanciano seminar may have helped influence their teaching at all. Peter, do you want to talk about your teaching work?
Well, I guess for me, the really biggest thing that I took away with me home to Romania, Hungary, and Vienna at that moment was really the belief that you can actually prepare a piece from one day to another, with a group or by yourself. So I guess I started using this more and more, and implementing it in my teaching as well. So, okay, let's try something. Please, let's try to prepare this piece from today till the end of the week, and then try to record it. And like, no, it's not possible. But well, I also thought it's not possible, but then I was proven wrong by Isabella, by Michael, and by Laura. So I guess I managed to somehow give that further to my students, to prove them that something that seems to be impossible is actually possible, as long as you are willing to give it a try. And I've seen a lot of surprised faces, the same as my face was then.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Thank you, Peter. Fabio, are you still teaching in schools? Oh, and you got to unmute yourself one more time.
Sorry, I forgot again.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, I'm teaching in the middle school with young people of 11, 12, and 13 years. From 9 years. And is different from the guitar seminar or studying guitar conservatory, etc. Yes, it's true that the teacher teacher, and the young is the student. There is which different. So
yeah. What are you able to ever play music for your students?
Yes, the student play guitar, and we have a guitar orchestra, orchestra with different instruments, guitar, violin, piano, and harmony.
Wow. So whoever is at the school can be in the orchestra? All of the students can be in the orchestra?
Yes, in general, yes. Sometimes, no. Depending of the level of the student. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Sometimes change the instrument. In another school, not harmonium, but clarinet. guitar, piano, and violin, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Depending of the school.
Good. Well, we're glad that you're still teaching. I know it was a difficult process to become a teacher, and so we're glad you're still there with the students. Matt Kaplan, you've now transitioned from not only teaching but also being an administrator at a school. What's that been like artistically for you?
Well, for me these days, mostly my work is like I'm still teaching, just not regular guitar students. Now I'm teaching essentially other teachers how to teach more or less. So like for what I got from Lanciano is one thing, and I'm sure Petey, you remember, is endurance. Like the back-to-back master classes was something like I will take with me for sure. It's like, you know, going and playing for Michael Andriaccio and then immediately getting ready to gear up for a completely different piece for Newman Altman duo. And for me, you know, that was something like, you know, very, very important for me, and something I definitely remember from that experience. In terms of how it's affected, you know, my teaching, not necessarily me artistically, like I just remember playing some of this music and in festivals like these, right? Lanciano is a little more intimate than probably some of the bigger festivals that occur. So you really get to know the faculty in the master classes, in performance opportunities, out at dinner and things like that, which is so great. I mean, you really get, you know, a full immersion, not only into like the culture, but like with, you know, teaching and being around these really great musicians. One thing I think that I took with it is being able to keep my eyes as wide open as possible when it comes to assessing a performance, right? One performance, one spot in time. It's like, you know, are you listening for tone, technique, interpretation, color, things like that? And I just found myself consistently blown away by the instruction that we got. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. You know, so always something to learn, always something to keep digging at, and I really appreciated that.
I forgot to unmute. Yeah, that's great, Matt. And how about Matt Petey? From a teaching point of view, you're also involved with administration at a school, and you've seen now Isabella and Laura and me running around like chickens with our heads cut off, starting at about 7 a.m. But you still decided to take the administrative responsibilities as well.
Right. So I don't do the administrative stuff anymore, but for a while I was doing a lot of it at the Fort Lee School of Music. And it was mostly kind of like clerical things, but also just important, you know, organizational skills have to go into things like that. You know, you double book one lesson and then the whole day is kind of you know, thrown into chaos. But no, we had some turnover at the school, and Mike had decided to just kind of pile on more students for me. So I'm teaching more there now. But when we do events, you know, we were doing plenty of guitar events. Actually, I had helped organize and put in, you know, the plans for putting together guitar ensembles at the Fort Lee School of Music. So in 2018, 2019, we had a sizable youth guitar orchestra. And we also had an adult guitar ensemble, which was really interesting because I had not, you know, like they were all kind of like beginner classical guitarists. Some of them, you know, I had like a 65-year-old guy who played the blues, you know, who wanted to transition and play, you know, like Spanish folk songs, you know, in this in this guitar ensemble. So the teaching, you know, curves there were interesting. But what I could definitely take from these seminars, and it goes for the guitar seminar at Manus and the Lanciano seminar, I try to be you know, I look at things a little bit differently now. You know, if I'm attending a lecture, or if I'm playing in a master class, for instance, I try to look at it from the perspective of teaching and instruction. And I try to be like a chameleon now when I teach, and kind of take the form of all of these different people who I have studied with in master classes, and I've sat in on their lectures. I mean, even sometimes, you know, Michael, after studying with you, even sometimes I find myself like speaking with your same inflections when I teach my students now, and it's kind of strange. But you know, one thing, you know, Matt and I played in a class for, you know, I'm bringing up Michael Andriaccio again. I'm going to get these guys so many students that they have to throw me a cut when they, you know, after all this free press I'm giving them. But we played for Michael. We played like a Scarlatti sonata for Michael a few years back at Manus. And his big thing for us was just kind of talking about like directing our sound and becoming like one instrument. And when I was teaching my ensembles, that was something that I was really trying to, you know, that was something that popped into my head. So, you know, like trying to tell everybody, you know, try to become one sound. You know, you're not 12 different guitarists right now. Now you're one ensemble, and we want to try to make this one cohesive sound. That was something that I pulled from a master class, you know, that I played in at a festival. So now I kind of take that perspective of, you know, now that I've taken, like, I guess that next step in my, I'm not a student anymore. Now I'm, well, I guess you're always a student, but, you know, now that I am teaching more students, I take that perspective now, like trying to take the things that I've learned and pass them on to my students, you know, who I see week to week. And I think that says a lot about, you know, again, the participant centricity of these festivals, where, you know, they're for the participants. You know, it's not to, especially in Lanciano, it's not to showcase the faculty concerts, you know, and this and that. It's a very cohesive unit, and you get comfortable, and you can kind of come out of your shell a little bit more. And I think that's where you'll get the most out of these things. And just one last thing, you know, as a participant in Lanciano, like Matt said, the endurance, you know, we were playing solo master classes and then playing master classes as a duo. So I would go from playing, let's say like on day one, I play a solo piece for Michael Newman, pack up my guitar, run next door, play a solo piece for Laura Altman, pack up my guitar, come back, play a duo piece with Matt for Michael Newman, pack up my guitar, go next door, play a duo piece for Laura Altman. And I think, you know, under other circumstances, that can be, you know, it's 2 hours of straight instruction and focus. But when you're around the right people, and when you're in a comfortable setting, and when you're, you know, just among peers who are all there for the same reason, for loving, you know, this instrument and the repertoire, it makes those things a lot less hectic and more fun. And when you're having fun, you're going to learn a lot more. And I think that is a big deal when it comes to, you know, making the commitment to fly to a new country and take part in something like this. But my experience was incredible. I would do it again right now if we could. So.
Thank you, Matt. Those are really good lessons for all of us to take away, I think. Hannah, Phil, you've been involved with starting your own organization even since the time you were in Lanciano last year. Is anything that you had experienced over there, was that helpful in your decision to start your own ex aequo artists and your own competition and everything else?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you know, we certainly wouldn't have been doing it if we didn't have good role models showing us how to run a successful festival, and showing us what a responsible nonprofit organization does to move the art forward, which I think that Lanciano does with all the outreach programs and bringing really like fantastic world-class guitarists to these little communities, like in Borello. I can't remember if it was, I think it was Borello, where you're in like a basement and it's like a bunch of kids, and you're interacting with all those kids. I'm like, when are those kids going to hear your, you know, the new Michael Newman and Laura Ullman, Leo Brower duo? You know, when are they going to hear that again? So I think that just having that community-minded that community-minded perspective is the biggest takeaway from Lanciano. What do you think?
Yeah, and the focus on the participants.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we did a festival that was all online, but you know, we did master classes where the participants could meet with the faculty and ask questions and things like that, which I thought in Lanciano it was so great, the focus on the participants where, you know, we were playing with the faculty, we were playing in concerts with the faculty and rehearsing with them, as well as learning from them. It was just so immersive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for all your insights. You know, as much as I would love to say, let's spend another few hours reminiscing and learning so much more. I've already learned so much in the last 36 minutes or so, just from hearing everybody's experiences and their insights. But we did want to have some time to show Hannah's video after we're done speaking. So I wanted to just ask Isabella to help us close the meeting, and if anyone had anything else they wanted to add, certainly feel free to do so.
Yeah, no, I have just one question for you guys, and I wanted to know how much or in which sense being in Italy for American and European people meant for you culturally and musically. So how much were you able to get from Italy? Maybe, for example, understanding better the meaning of some, you know, words in music that you have been reading so much, and at the end you understand, oh, presto, now I understand what does it mean presto, or any other thing. Do you want to share anything, if any?
Oh, can I go first?
Yeah.
Because even though I'm a teacher and a director, I'm always a student as well. But for me, just being someplace gives such a different perspective on the music from that place. I guess we would call it the cultural context. In fact, Laura did a whole blog post for Strings by Mail about Lanciano and about the idea of cultural context. And if you play music by Giuliani, and then you go to Italy, or you sing Rossini, and you go to Italy, or just about any music that comes from the country, and you're there, you start to understand why people were creating this music in the first place. You know, it's like you can know everything about the blues, but until you've been to Chicago, you don't really know what Chicago blues is all about. Or until you've been on the Mississippi River Delta, you don't know what that life may have been like for the people who were writing the blues. So it's the same to go to Abruzzo, to Tuscany, to Rome, to the Alps, all these incredible parts of the country where such different music has been created. For me, just being there, it makes all the difference in the world in playing the music. That's my 2 cents.
Thanks for sharing. Anybody wants to share anything that meant something after you came back home from the seminar and you had time to think about what did you learn that helped you with your musical growth?
I guess I can just agree with Michael with everything that he said, but and also like to add that when we go to a place like this, we have a big bag of our clothes with us, but on the way back, figuratively, we are coming with a lot of things that are not material, like understanding how music works, how Michael said it, people that we get to know. I mean, for me, the biggest gift was the community that I got to know in Lanciano. And this applies to every other place where you go. It's a new place, so you're going there by yourself, and we'll end up with whole friendly community. And when you're coming home, you're so much richer than you were, regardless of place. But this happened in Italy and in New York.
Great. Yes, thank you, Peter. Thank you for that. Well, everyone, we so appreciate your being here, for all of your insights today, for sharing with everybody. And we do want to remind everyone that for the entire week now, we have events on New York time, 10 a.m., 12 noon, 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. In Italy, that's 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 10 o'clock in the evening. And of course, everything is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So we have the schedule posted at lancianoguitar.com. And we look forward to seeing you at all the other events.
Michael, can you allow me to share the schedule just to show?
Please, please.
That was a good idea. So I'm, okay. Okay, so we can see the schedule.
Great. I'm even going to take a picture of it.
Sure.
Great. So so we will already have heard Matt Kaplan, his spotlight this morning, but then Joanne and Michael about the other art of music, about business and other creativity. And then Aldo will be the spotlight tonight, and you can see very full days coming up for the rest of the week. Thank you, Isabella. And thank you again, everyone. And we look forward to seeing Hannah's retrospective of Lanciano 2019. We'll see you all soon. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao. Have a great day.